What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Victory Life Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Dwight Vick, owner and founder of Victory Life. And today we are doing our VHSL high school basketball preview show. And we're going to start off with a coach who I have a lot of respect for, a state championship winning coach, a guy that never shies away from offering his opinion, and also two of his best players, two guys I'm big fans of as well. Coach Doug Craig joins us today, along with Sean and his brother Bryce. They are twins. I think that's cool as well. But guys, gentlemen, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, man. I know this time of year is crazy. We're in November. This is a holiday week, and scrimmages are taking place, practicing. Everybody's getting ready for that stretch run. Basketball is a unique season because, unlike football, it goes a lot longer and there's ebbs and flows. The team that might be the team to beat in November, December might not be the same team in February and March or January. So, Coach Doug, let's talk about that. How is the summer and fall been, and how are you guys responding?
Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like the off season's so long, anymore. Because when you finish up basketball season in February, March, right? The kids jump right into their club teams or AU teams. So they're kind of like their season kind of never ends. I think as coaches, we get a little break there from like, March to like April, May for the high school coaches. But for the kids, I know they literally like some of them will finish playing on like a Friday, and then the following week they'll have AU practice. So it's been a good off season though. We've been able to do a couple team camps. Played in summer league up at the Mathen over at Fairfax High School, and then we played fall league at Wakefield and at Madison High School. So we were able to have two teams in the summer, two teams in the fall, and just kind of getting the kids a chance to play a lot. We finished our tryout process about a week and a half ago, and we've had about, I don't know, 10 practices as a team and one scrimmage. We have another scrimmage tomorrow night. So it's been good. It's been busy. We got a lot of kids, and we're at the point of the season, I think, where you're trying to get a lot of kids, a lot of playing time, and just kind of evaluate and kind of see different combinations and install your offense and defense and try to get, semi organized. And then I think it kind of narrows down as you go.
Yeah, and you say you have a scrimmage. Who you guys scrimmaging?
Well, this past Saturday we scrimmaged Battlefield. I know, as Coach Rivers will say, the purple guys, right? So we scrimmaged them this past Saturday at home, and then tomorrow night we're headed over to Vienna to scrimmage Madison. Coach Roller and his guys over there. I know they're a little shorthanded right now. I think their football team still playing, so they're missing a couple guys. But scrimmages are a little bit different. You're trying to see certain things, and we got a good look Saturday against Battlefield, and we'll get another one tomorrow.
Yeah, Battlefield. Coach Bills is actually joining the show. Him and some of his players later this evening, so it'll be good to talk with him. I talked to him yesterday, or on Saturday, excuse me. We did the Prince William County Media Day, Winter Sports Media Day. Great coach, always gets the most out of his players. Very similar to you in regards to coaching adjustments. Let me talk to these guys. Bryce, I'll start with you, man. You're a senior, right? And that senior perspective you had is much different when you first come into the program. Um, has it gone by quick? Has it gone by fast in regards to your career? Do you feel like you blink and now you're a senior, or has that had been methodical? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it did go by pretty fast. I'd say the only slow part was I missed my whole sophomore year
Yeah,
from the injury. And I think last year went by pretty fast. I mean, it seemed like not that long ago I was a freshman playing JV, and that was like, yeah.
and the same question for you, Sean. How do you feel like how fast your career's gone? Do you have any perspective on being a senior, or are you going to reflect that after the season's over?
I mean, it feels like freshman year was like yesterday. Like COVID made everything go so fast. Um, but it's just been great being part of the program. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I actually before Coach Doug became one of my friends, I met him the COVID season through our mutual friend, Coach Rocky Carter. I actually, true story. And Sean, I'll stick with you. I was at a Christmas tournament. It was one of those showcases, and my son and I, my wife went down because Jason Wade, who's at ODU, is a family friend, and I've known him. And then they had Mondo, who's at UNC, and they also had the kid Henry, who I'm very close with, his family as well, Henry Coleman, who's at Texas A&M. And we sat, my son and I, Isaiah, we sat behind Woodson's bench, and Coach Doug during the timeout was laying into his guys. And the thing about it was, I remember sitting there, he didn't care that we were right there because I literally could have just leaned over in his huddle, and he was laying down a senior. He was like, "You're a senior. Come on. You got to do better than that." And it was crazy because he didn't look up and he was intense. I didn't know him. I knew of him. And I was like, yo, this guy's really on him. But you know what's funny? That was a competitive game, and they featured all those guys I just mentioned, and they would have defended state champs. John, this is the Victory Life Legacy podcast. We'd like to be honest on this show. We want insight. I know we can't get rated R, but how is Coach Doug? How is he? Because I know he's intense, but he's also a great teacher. Have you ever felt that wrath? Have you ever felt that I need more out of you, or you're not giving me enough?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he always wants the best out of us. So sometimes he's gonna get a little riled up, but it's usually for the best, and it brings out the best in us, I guess.
Yeah. What have you learned so far? I mean, to be a senior, I like asking guys this question, even if we're just sitting, in the bleachers in the summer league. I ask a lot of kids this. What have you learned from him as a player and as a young man? I know that's a tough question, but just, in the brief answer, what have you learned from him?
I mean, discipline, I guess, is really important. I feel like that's implemented a lot in our practices and just how we do stuff.
Got you. And what about you, Bryce? Have you gotten that wrath? Have you? I mean, is he harder on you, or because you guys are twins, is it equal opportunity wrath, or is it lifting you up? Is it empowering you, or is it both?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely both. I think like he's also taught me just more like structured basketball when you compare it to like AAU, just like paying attention to detail, just like making like this cut or doing something.
Yeah, Coach. You have you great kids, great program. Um, you don't focus just on winning. You're a teacher, and you are big on life lessons. This season, every year, there's a goal. Obviously, you want to get the most out of your team. You want to win games and be one of the last team standing late in the season. But at the same time, I know in talking to you, and I've seen you on other shows, and you talk about the big picture. And you always say, "What are we doing here? What are we doing? What is the goal this year besides the basketball? Like, you're big on life skills. What is the goal for this team? What is maturity level? Or your leaders? What are you guys looking at as far as a big team goal?"
Yeah, I mean, I think, I always tell people, and I tell the kids this, that the most important thing to me when they leave our program, is that their word and what they say they're going to do should mean something. And if you give someone your word that you're going to do something, you owe them the follow through on that. And I think the most important thing that they learn through sports is accountability. There's so much accountability, in my opinion, is removed from kids today. Schools have the discipline has loosened over the years, the accountability with things, it's different now. There's a lot of individualization in the education process. I feel like sports is one of the last places where accountability can really happen. At the end of the day, we can put anybody in the game, but once you get between the lines, nobody really cares, what your home life is like, what your parents do, how much money you have, what resources you have. It's either can you get the job done or you can't. And when kids give their word to their teammates and their coaches, that word should mean something, that they're going to go out and handle their responsibility. So for me, I love to win, and winning is really important. And we still put the score on the board. So I'm always going to try and win games, but when they leave, I really want them to be accountable for their actions and what they say they're going to do. And if they give somebody their word, that's what they should follow through with. I think learning accountability and teamwork, those are the part of sports that's really, really important. Very few of these guys are going to ever make money playing sports. That's the very sports. Everybody talks about those people, but there's so many other kids that play sports that's not in their future, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's one of the last places I think accountability and the idea of more than just being about yourself. I think sports is one of the last places it seems like that's still taught.
Yeah, that's a great point. You talked about, the W as a scoreboard and whatnot. Obviously, I mentioned when we brought you guys on, you're a state championship winning coach. Um, you have had some battles, man. In Northern Virginia, I've been living up here for 23 years. And I'm quick to say, being a guy that grew up in the 757, I knew there was talent up here, but then now that I lived up here now, as long as I have, it's talent all over, especially in basketball. There's some games every year in district play, which always brings out the best of teams. What games do you guys have in conference that are going to be a challenge? I know there are no nights off. And then out of conference, what do you guys got going on?
Well, I mean, I think in conference, I mean, the Patriot District just year in and year out. I know all the other coaches around the area get tired of us saying this. It's just it's a meat grinder. Every team has athletes. Every team has size. I always say that one of the things that I noticed with the Patriot District games is that every square inch of the floor is competed for. There's no just dribble the ball down, throw the ball to the wing. I mean, in order to do that in our league, you're going to get challenged the entire length of the floor, every catch in the half court. It's very physical, close quarter kind of hand fighting combat basketball. It's not always necessarily the most aesthetically pleasing basketball. There's a lot of 48-45 kind of games just because defensively there's a lot of athletes, there's a lot of size on the floor. So, anybody in our district on a given night can be really good. And then non-district, we've got we open up with South Lakes a week from tomorrow. And I don't know. I mean, they could arguably open up the season as the number one ranked team in the state. Jordan Scott obviously is a junior. He's got 25 Division I offers. I saw one of the Rochester brothers just committed to Brown. He transferred in. The two brothers transferred from O'Connell this summer. I know they're very, very good. They have all 5 starters back from a team that was in the state semifinals last year. So we open up with them. We have Edison, another state tournament team on our schedule, and in our tip-off tournament early in the season, we've got we're playing Potomac, who's always is one of those programs around the state, right? Potomac Dumfries is always going to have a good quality team. We got them, and then we're up in a holiday tournament up in Pennsylvania, and we'll play some good competition from up there. I mean, there's not a lot of games you circle on the calendar all right, well, this is our get right game, and we're going to be able to get right in this game. We're going to be able to score. It's not going to be easy. So, but I think when you have a team with a lot of experience coming back like we do, there's nothing wrong with playing a tough schedule. I think that actually helps you. It should have their attention from the beginning, and hopefully will prepare us for later in the year when we're playing games that are meaningful.
Absolutely. Sean, I'll start with you with this question. Looking at your schedule, you guys open it with South Lakes. Obviously, it's so funny because, I'm an old head, OG as my son and his friends and other kids call it, where we had the newspaper and you had the news channel. So you pretty much saw the rankings, or you maybe had a magazine in your local supermarket where you could see, okay, this kid's here. But with social media, with Twitter and Instagram and podcasters like myself and Nova Hoops with Julian and other shows like that, you hear a lot about who's this, who's favorite, all these offers. When you look at South Lakes and you look at some of the other teams, the Potomacs, all the teams you play in this season, from a player's perspective, the competitive juices flow with you. I mean, how much do you look forward to going against teams with that much talent like South Lakes and other teams that Coach mentioned? Are you we're going to let them know about what we got, or we're out here focusing on what we do best? Just elaborate on that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty exciting seeing that we're going to play those teams. We're always up for competition. We're obviously not going to back down to anyone. So yeah.
And I don't think I've ever asked a player this. I mean, on my show, do you look when you hear because we're in the mecca of high school basketball, the DMV, Northern Virginia, Maryland, and DC. You're talking about across the bridge, it's guys. DC has guys, private school, public school, talent is everywhere. Do you take a peek and look at I'm gonna watch this game. We're not playing tonight, or I want to check the box score, or I want to see how they did, versus another school because I'm playing him in 2 weeks. Do you check for that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, all the
Thank you
time.
for being honest. Would you say?
I said all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, man. That still exists. Um, Bryce, again, same question in regards to the schedule. I'm not asking for a hot take. This is not first take or cold pizza or nothing like that. But are there some teams in your district being a seeing like, wow, they've gotten the best of us, or this will be a good matchup, or these three teams out of conference in district play? Are there some teams and some games you're looking forward to?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say the biggest one would be West Potomac because I think last year we lost to them. I don't know, was it 3 times, and like the point differential was maybe like four.
Coach said four. He
Yeah,
said four.
and so like the point differential throughout those games was like single digits. So that's definitely like a big matchup for us.
Yeah. And then when you talk about
Four
um
four games, 4 games by a total of 6 points. Not that I'm keeping track or anything.
I'm sure you are. Yeah, man. I love it. This is why I love this time of year. See, people don't realize, even though I was a long time ago, once upon a time, a standout football player, basketball is my favorite sport because I love basketball because you get a chance to avenge and get revenge within the season. With that being said, Coach, how do you make sure that these kids stay focused? You have an experienced team coming back. I think you're a sleeper team, even though, that's based off media hype and this team's the favorite. How do you keep you guys locked in and how do you keep them hungry? It's a balancing act. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, you know, one of the things we can stress to our kids is we haven't won anything meaningful in a few years. I mean, we've had some good teams that just haven't won. I mean, we haven't won a district title, put a number on a banner on the district banner since 2000 and 2007. Um, we were 11-15 basketball team last year. Yes, we lost a lot of close games and we have a lot of returning guys, but number one, it's an easy sell because we're not sitting fat, coming off a regional title or something like that. It's real easy. I think too, some of that goes back to the kind of senior leadership and leadership your group has as general. I think coaches, everybody from the outside looks at the coaches as, the leaders and you're kind of pushing those kids. But my experience more with in terms of like keeping them hungry and keeping them fed, that really comes more from them as a group than it necessarily does from me. I as a coach, you can say things, but after a while, the kids have to be self-motivated, and they have to be kind of hungry themselves. I think we got that kind of a group this year. I think they were a little disappointed with how things finished out last year, so they're looking forward to getting back out there this year and turning some of those close results. We lost a lot of close games last year. I mean, think of our 15 games. Maybe 11 or 12 of them were like within a possession in the last 3 minutes, and we probably lost like 9 of those. So we lost a lot of close games. So it should be easy to kind of, if you're any kind of a competitor, right, kind of sum up that motivation. I think competitiveness kind of comes from within a lot of times. It's not like a rah-rah speech I give in the locker room. They know what the expectation is, and I think they have some goals set for themselves, which is what ultimately matters.
Absolutely. Just a few more questions for Sean and Bryce because I know you guys got practice. Coach says he's going to run the dog mess out of you. So we're going to make sure you hydrate and get off this podcast. But listen, Sean, and I'll start with you, man. You're committed. Talk about your school, the recruiting process, and what's it like? Because I love Doug because he's constantly reminding people, and I do the same thing. It is a blessing to play college sports. Very few people, once you get old and gray like me, very few people can do that. So congratulations to you first and foremost, and to you as well, Bryce. But talk about, Sean, the recruiting process, who you're looking at, and the school you chose, and why.
Yeah, so I would say my recruitment kind of picked up last year for the most part. I was just getting a lot of interest during like the AAU season, so it was like mostly just D2s, D3s. But I took a lot of visits. I think maybe like 9 or 10.
Nice.
But
Wow.
I visited F&M like the first time my junior year. I really liked it, and then I stayed in contact with them, and then I visited again a couple months ago, and I really liked it. So I just said to myself, like, this is the place I want to go. So then everything was said and done.
And F&M is Franklin and Marshall, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You said the acronym. Some people are like, wait, what? Okay, got you. And Bryce, excuse me, I'm sorry. Same question, man. Recruitment. I know you battled an injury or two, but at the same time, you're committed. Congratulations. How did that process go? What led you to about choosing your school? And you didn't follow your brother. I know sometimes that the twins like to stay locked in, but you went your own path. How'd that go about?
Yeah, so I'd say it picked up a little later for me,
Hmm.
just with the injury and stuff. But it was mostly like Sean said during AAU season is when all the interest comes in. Um, so I was on Dickinson's radar before, but it wasn't until I went to their camp, just the elite camp, to where I kind of like stood out there, and I'd already been there a couple times just visiting with my AAU team, and then I went on an actual visit there maybe like 2 weeks after the camp. Um, and I got to like sit down in a class, go around with the players, hang out with the team, and just compared to everywhere else I visited, it just felt like family, I guess. Like
Great.
the coach was really genuine. Um, yeah,
And both schools are in Pennsylvania, right?
yeah, that's
So
the
you
same time.
guys, how close proximity? How close are you? Excuse me. Are you like
I'm actually
45
not
minutes away
sure.
from them?
Like
Have y'all even looked into that yet?
An
no,
hour
Yeah,
15.
probably not.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Will y'all be able to play each other?
it's the
yeah,
same.
they're in the same conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping, which that is a perfect segue into my question because I want to know, and I know what happens in practice from as far as scrimmage and inter squad scrimmage and team play, but who gets the best when y'all strap it up and go as far as like hooping one on one? Like, yeah, what happens? Like Sean, Bryce, who's that guy? Is it you, Bryce? Is it you, Sean?
I mean, I guess we'll leave that up to Coach Craig.
Woodson gets the best when they go at each other and they play hard. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Woodson gets
Does
the
it get
best.
intense? Does it get intense?
I mean,
Uh,
It can get a little
not
competitive.
really.
Doesn't get
Yeah.
it.
I love the humility, man. I love it. No, that's great, man.
they are both being humble in that. I think one of the
I
things
know.
that help both of them, they're both outstanding students, and I know that opened up both of those schools, Dickinson and Franklin Marshall, are outstanding academic schools. And I think when you're talking about unless you're the elite of the elite, where grades matter, but they don't really matter to the really high level guys. I mean, you got to be qualified, obviously, but like,
I know
if
what
you're
you
good
mean.
enough, if you're good enough to be recruited by Duke, they're not worried about if you have a 3.4 or a 3.0. Both these guys had outstanding grades, so a lot of doors were open to them in terms of the academic side, and both schools are doing very well. They'll do very well at, and I will say, I think we should also, I know both of them mentioned their AU team, but the Nova Cavaliers AU program, but both guys played in that program for multiple years. And those guys did a really good job kind of keeping in contact with us on the high school side and vice versa.
Yes.
And it's been a good partnership for both these guys.
Nova Cavaliers, shout out to them. Great program. Um, I believe kid I used to coach joined them, Grant Polk. Did you guys play with Grant?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my guy. Shooters, guys. The Nova Cavs recruit shooters. That's what's up, man. Listen, man, I want to thank all three of y'all for jumping on, man. This has been great. I know you guys got practice, and I appreciate you guys jumping on. This is a great time of the year. Coach Doug, I know I'll talk to you and see you around, man. And I'll look for you in that coaches panel and all y'all get on Julian's show and talk, and everybody's talking about this, and Julian gets you guys to do those hot debates. But that's great. But Sean and Bryce, and congratulations to you both, man. Good luck this season. Looking forward to you guys matching not only with South Lakes but other games. I'll be watching, man, down here in Prince William. So, thank you. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you for
absolutely.
having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'm joined now by one of my favorite people and one of the best podcasts on the East Coast, not just in Virginia, but on the East Coast. Is my brother from the 804, Lee Merritt, here to talk about teams in the 804, specifically girls teams. We're gonna touch on some boys as well, man. Lee, how you doing, man?
Tired, man, and appreciate the shout out, man. That's about a stretch, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, man. For those who don't know, man, if you don't know, you've been in Iraq or in the cave, but Lee's got a great show, man. Highlights some great coaches, not just in 804 teams, but coaches and players throughout the Commonwealth. Your Freedom's been on there, Phoebus, John Marshall basketball, man. Mondo, the great center at UNC, one of the best centers in the country, a future draft pick. So he gets you that story. He gets guys. So him and I got connected a few years ago, and I'm glad he's on here. And he's the guy we talk. We talk all the time now. Sometimes too long where I'm late for meetings, but I finally got him on, man, and I'm a big fan of his. But Lee, let's talk about it, man. We'll talk about real quick, briefly, because we're under a time constraint. There's some big games this weekend. We're talking basketball, but I do want to touch on football. There's some huge games this week with Verina, and then you also have the rematch in Division 6 regional championship, Manchester and Highland Springs. I'm not sure who's Verina playing.
King George.
King George. So give a preview of Verina and King George, and then we'll touch on Manchester and Highland Springs.
Well, Verona coming off that 1-point thriller, man, over Huguenot, which they hadn't played each other in probably like the last 30 years, man. So it was good for the 804, and it was sellout crowd, man. It gave us everything that we wanted. Coach Marcus Lewis, they got that win over Coach new first year coach Charles Scott. They came from LCA, Life Christian Academy over there in Chester, and he took his whole staff over to Huguenot, man, and he made a prediction that he was going to make the playoffs and got to the second round this year, man. And he gave us, it went down to the wire. So Verona pulled it out, man, 21-20. And they got to set up a rematch from last year, which was in the second round against King George. King George undefeated, got those 2-3 dynamic wide receivers, man. I haven't seen them play yet, man, but I'm actually going to the game on Saturday. And I'm definitely going to check them out. They just beat Dinwiddie. Tough champ, was it Class 4? Class 4 champion Dinwiddie.
Wow. And then, of course, Manchester and Highland Springs had a great game. I watched that live on Richmond, Virginia Sports on YouTube. I hope I said that right, but I was watching that live. Highland Springs was in control, but then Manchester kept coming. Highland Springs had a bunch of turnovers, and then all of a sudden, Highland Springs had the ball, tie ball game, and they had that screenplay to my guy, and he took it to the house. What's his name again? The kid that caught
George,
it,
Yeah, George Lovelace.
Yeah, and he just took it to the house, man. Everybody's been kind of counting Highland Springs out because of their loss to Mar this year, which you can make an argument between Maury, Freedom, and Phoebus, who's the best team in the state. But Maury is definitely a state championship contender, and I've always felt Highland Springs is one of those teams that continuously gets better as the season goes along. What are your thoughts on this matchup with Manchester and Highland Springs?
Highland Springs better have their stuff together because Manchester gonna bring it, man. I mean, I was there live, at the game on the sidelines, and Manchester threw everything, the kitchen sink at them, man. But as I told you, I was so impressed with Highland Springs coaching staff. They just wasn't moved. I guess they respected their opponent, but they was never rattled or anything like that. They just came up with the next play, whatever adjustments they need to make. But if they can make those adjustments on the back end, man, because Manchester was throwing that ball deep, and it's like every time they went down there, Manchester was making them connections. It was 6. So I think it's going to be like it was last time, man. But again, as I tell everybody, and Coach Johnson, I trust. So until somebody knock him off, I'm going to rock with Highland Springs for the close one.
Yeah, no doubt. And when this airs, we'll know who won that game when I air this show. Let's stick with Manchester, but we're going to talk girls basketball, which is definitely one of the big reasons I brought you on, because I follow you on Instagram, Facebook, and even on Twitter, and you constantly pushing, which I'm a big fan of, is women's basketball, especially down there in 804. There are some juggernauts this year. And I want you to tell everybody watching who are some teams and players to watch in 804 when it comes to girls basketball.
Well, I'm going to be biased, so I'm going to let everybody know that off top. Thomas Dale, man, the Lady Knights of Thomas Dale, they got beaten the state semis last year, and they lost to Manchester, and they got two. Well, now they got three, but they start off with two dynamic guards. Junior Nala Wilson, she should average about 20. She was averaging 28 last year. She's probably going to average more than that. And then you got her sidekick, sophomore Savannah Dawson. Both of those girls are Boo Williams girls, play 17 EYBL with Boo. And if Boo Williams coming up here to come get you, you'll be a pretty big deal. But they got a freshman, and this is what I was told: U.S. Olympic talent. This is exactly what I was told.
Hold up, say it again. Say it again.
U.S. Olympic talent. That's exactly the words that it was described to be by a writer.
Wow. So you've been told that, but I always value your opinion. Have you seen her?
I've seen her. I've actually seen her for the first time at Mondale's camp, but it really wasn't nothing serious. But then I got a video sent to me Saturday. They scrimmaged Princess Anne, and they beat Princess Anne, scrimmaged them and beat them by 29 points. And we talking about 10-time, 12-time Donnell Dozier. I know he don't win championships in November. He won them in March. But if you got this freshman oh my God, she was shooting threes, passing. She did everything, man. Triple threat. And she's a freshman. She's starting at Thomas Dale. Tamani Harris. Remember that name.
Tamani Harris. Hold on. I'm taking notes when I did. Tamani Harris.
They said U.S. Olympic talent. And she's already top 5 in the state of Virginia, according to Prep Hoops in her class.
Crazy.
And haven't even played a game yet, a varsity game yet.
Man, who does she AAU can be hit or miss, when it comes to the circuit you're on. You might be with a team, but they're not coaching ain't that good. Who does she run with? Is it Boo or it's Boo,
well,
right?
She was running with Team Takeover, but her father has an organization called Black Top Kings and Queens.
Oh, yeah, I played them.
Yeah, so that's her father's organization. So I'm not sure who she's running with this year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of people, batting for her services. Because I'm going to tell you, man, what I saw, I'm telling you, this girl was shooting threes from half court, man. Standstill threes. Look, I listen. I put it on my story on yesterday, and I was like, "Good God!"
Oh, I gotta go back. I missed that.
Man. Like I said, I still got it. But like I said, they had a closed scrimmage. Was it Saturday down at Princess Anne, and I just heard that they destroyed them.
Wow, man. So, what are some other teams? Did you touch on some other teams that we need to be looking out for in girls basketball?
Well, also in Class 6 is Manchester.
I was waiting for them.
Yeah, Manchester. They they're deep, man. Offensive, defense. They're led by another one of Boo girls, Mia Woolfolk. She just committed to the University of Georgia.
Nice.
She also plays softball. She's probably a better softball player than she is basketball. But you got Leah Hampton, Rain Wright. Her father's the head coach, Rasheed Wright. And I'm telling you, man, I saw those girls play against Stewart the other day. Stewart is led by sophomore sensation, babyface assassin, number 15 ESPN ranked Sanaa Green.
So she's ranked 15?
She ranked 15 in the class of 2026. Look it up, Sanaa Green.
No. I've seen one thing again, everybody watching, I'm telling you guys right now, subscribe to his channel. I'm not saying it because he's my brother. I'm telling you, if you are a high school purist like me and you want to know what's going on outside your street, because some of you guys and women need to leave your area and explore. There's talent everywhere in the state and in the DMV. Larry has it. Lee's got it on his page, and he usually gets some of the greatest interviews. So I'm definitely going to check her out.
As a
Go
matter of
ahead.
fact, I got an interview with her coming out on December the 8th. Check it out,
There he is.
BallinVA.
Yeah, no, there it is, man. And she's in 2026 and she's that good already.
Number 15 ranked in the country. She plays with Elevate Elite up there in Northern Virginia on the Adidas
Okay.
circuit.
Yep.
So, yeah, she goes to the Stewart School. And that girl's phenomenal, man. She wears a number 35. I asked her, was it for Kevin Durant? She said no, but hey, man, I'm just saying that girl's something else. And you also got to watch out in Class 5, UNC commit Lainey Grant. She just U.S. Olympic, got a gold medal in Colorado. She's been committed to them since her sophomore year. She's player of the year down here in Richmond. They went from Class 6 to Class 5. And then they got a girl who just transferred from Cosby, Simone Newton. That's going to be her sidekick this year. So watch out for James River in Class 5. They're actually going to be playing Osborne Park in it's a tournament at Highland Springs on January 27th. I think it's like Coaches for Cure or something like that. Tweet Richardson. So y'all look up that tournament, man. I'm telling you. Watch Lainey Grant.
I am because I just interviewed on Saturday. I was doing Princeton County Media Day, and I've known about her for years. But I finally got a chance to talk to Coach Kelly of Osborne Park, and I'm working to get her on and her team. Phenomenal coach, and they're one of the favorites up here in Class 6 in Northern Virginia. And she rattled off her schedule, and she named nothing but contenders, including the team you just mentioned. So
yeah,
that's going to be the clash of the Titans.
Yeah, she's playing James River, Thomasdale, and Manchester.
She's playing them all.
She's playing them all. So, like you said, you can't do nothing but kudos to Coach Kelly. I'll definitely be there for all three of those games. But I'm telling you, we got so much Division I talent here, man, that for females, I'm going to tell you right now, the females are better than the boys side.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, that's a lot of talent. And the great thing about y'all area, Lee, more so than any other area, maybe the 757, but definitely in the 804, is that y'all talent are staying in the public school sector, which,
right,
a lot of times, a kid gets these names and levels and rankings and ability you're talking about. It's like, okay, I'm going to drive all the way up here and go to the math, or I'm going to go here. But y'all, they're staying where everyone can see them right in their communities, man. 804, that's what's up, man. You mentioned the girls have so much D1 talent, man. Just talk about some of the coaches that we should keep an eye out for. I mean, of these teams, some of the coaches that coach these teams, what are their names and what makes them special and how they're able to get all this talent?
Well, I got an interview actually coming out this Friday, with the Stewart head coach, which is Kara Basile. She's a twin, and her twin sister is the head coach at Monacan, following the legend Larry Starr that had Megan Walker and everybody else over there. That three-peat that they just had a couple of years ago. That Monacan is in Class 4, so like I said, they're gonna be a force. Shonda Bailey down there in Hampton, champion. So they're gonna be trying to contend for that title. You got Pam Walker, who's in her second year. She's from 757, graduated from Bethel, 82.
Yeah.
She's the head coach at Thomasdale. And of course, you got Rasheed Wright that's at Manchester, man. I'm not familiar with the coach yet at James River yet, but like I said, those are the teams I know that I'm going to follow. Of course, you got John Marshall girls. You can't forget about Chevette Waller over there, Elsie Bird. She's been there forever. They're going to contend. They're not as strong as they were in the past, but whenever you got Chevette Waller, any team that she has, they're going to compete.
Yeah. Man, you out here, man. I'm here taking notes. I'm glad this is going to be on our YouTube channel so people can go back and check it. And I'm going to tag a lot of your people, man, because you're breaking it down. Let's switch sides real quick. Let's talk boys because, some of the programs I'm familiar with are going through some transitioning. They're down. I know I'm biased when it comes to LC Bird because Troy Mans is my longtime brother and friend from back in our days of being at Virginia Tech. I didn't play basketball with him, but, we were at Tech the same time when he transferred in. But what's some of the men's teams to worry that we should be focused on and watching and everything like that?
Well, it's so funny, man, because right now, as we speak, John Marshall, which is 13th ranked in the country, is playing Bishop O'Connell right now. in a benefit game that I totally forgot about. They played me the benefit game right now, John Marshall. Of course, John Marshall just got 2 commits. Damon Red Thompson, his father played at Virginia State. He just committed to JMU. So then you got what's the guy's name? Oh my God, I lost his name. I can't even think his name. But he's the other guy. I think he just committed to Shawan.
Dominic Bailey.
Dominic Bailey. Yeah,
yep.
Thank you. He just committed there. And then they got the kid. They just got a couple of transfers into John Marshall. They loaded again, man. I think Aiden Albright, the other kid. Of course, they got the other kid already. The young man that they already got. I forgot his name already. I can't think his name. He's a sophomore. I tell you, my mind has been so focused on these girls, I didn't forget.
No. It's okay. You actually, look. You already gave us enough. I need to give you a little stipend. You done gone through these girls like you working for CBS. But let's stick with John Marshall for a second, because I mean, they were loaded. I not first saw them, but I saw them last summer or two. Yeah, it was last summer. They played in the DC Live Pit against my son's team, Patriot. And my son was matched up against a kid that went to NC State, I believe. And then he also was against their big, and that was in the summer. And of course, they went on to become the best team in high school basketball, which I know that's always debatable, but the rankings said it, and they played a national schedule. Had a chance to see them that summer, and I talked to some players on the Patriot team, and they were talking about how physical and talented Marshall was, but it served Patriot a benefit because it made them, one of those games where you're not going to see that much talent in your district or in your region on one team. With that being said, man, there's a misconception, Lee, that John Marshall just gets a bunch of great players and they roll the basketball out and they say, all right, y'all go hoop. Those coaches are coaching. Yes, they are deep. They are talented. They have a bunch of D1 and D2 prospects. But talk about the John Marshall way, because it seems to be a misconception that they're not coaching those boys up. They just are just going out here and getting buses. I mean, again, you're an 804, so you speak on it. You know those guys. They've been on your show. What's going on with John Marshall, and how they've been consistent besides having a bunch of talent?
They just know how to do it, man. I mean, Ty White, came from that Petersburg, Crimson Wave, under Bill Lawson, came over and took over John Marshall. And this is what is got to be his 10th or 11th year at John Marshall, man. And he changed that whole program around. But actually, I know that between Ty White and then his assistant coach, he does a lot of coaching as well, Coach Blackwell, one of the best out here, man, and they just doing their thing. And then sometimes you have Brandon Ward, he coaches as well. So they just got a phenomenal staff, man. And they just know what they're doing, man. And when you got guys like they know how to coach, when you win, people just going to flock to you. I mean, you can say what you want about, they do this and do this and stuff like this, man. But the thing about it is they compete on a national level and they just win. They played December 9th up there at the Hoop Fest in D.C. against Sidwell Friends. So we got to be checking that out too. But they just know how to do it, man. So those coaches I respect, man, they've been doing it for a long time. And despite, people going to have their opinions on what they do, man, they're some great guys, man. They just know how to do it. The only thing that I just wish is they could just play Verina, because we got 2 great teams down here, and just for whatever reason, we can't get them to play each other. I don't know.
Again, I know you go live, and for those watching, follow him on Instagram. He has his BallinVA podcast, but the lives, and I've jumped on a few, and if I'm not on, I'm watching. The lives are must-see social media lives. Some of that social media lives is somebody in there, cutting their hair, or they just singing or trying to get a deal. This is great, intense discussions with coaches, AAU moms. Just elaborate a little bit. You said Verina, because they're,
Verina in Class 4. Yeah, Verina in Class 4, you got forgot about them. They're back-to-back state champions. They're led by KJ White, man. They're all everything for them. And, the head coach is what I always tell you, just like I said about Lauren Johnson and Coach Boom Randolph, I trust. Because Verina has one of the best coaching staffs in Virginia. They don't get their due. Coach Randolph, he was an assistant coach of the 2018 team that won state under Andrew Lacey. and then he got the job, and then he won 2 more as a head coach. So now you see why I want to have my shirt that says "In Coach Boone, I trust," because that man, that dude can coach, man.
Yeah.
They coming back. They got a very, very young athletic team. A lot of those guys are football players, man. But KJ he's undersized. He's like 5'9", 5'8", maybe. But the man played like he's 6'3", 6'4". And he's what, 2-time, region player of the year, state player of the year this past year. I mean, why this man doesn't have a proper offer. He got one to Virginia Union, but why Norfolk State, NC Central, A&T, whoever, playing around, why they won't give this man an offer is just a travesty to me.
Yeah, there's a handful of kids I know in his situation where they've been to some camps and they like him a lot, but they won't pull the triggers. It's politics. It's also a numbers game, and everybody's trying to figure out what this player is going to do. But I'm sure it's going to work out for him. I believe I saw him when you and I were hanging out at
they played against Woodside.
Springfield at St. James against the VHSL First Ever Live, VHSL Live.
Yep.
He was hooping.
Yeah, he played against. Yeah, he gave Woodside the business, but Woodside won that game. But like I said, KJ does it all, so you got to get that man his due. I mean, also on the private side, we got Brandon Jennings that plays for St. Christopher's. He just committed last week to VCU. He's under the Team Loaded. He played with Team Loaded in the summer. 6'4", big time. Oh man, big time, man. Y'all gotta check this guy out if you haven't seen him. But yeah, he just committed to VCU. So I think St. Chris gonna contend for a state championship. But then you got Stab, which is St. Anne's Belfield, and Paula Six and O'Connell. They got their hands full, man, but they should be right there in the Final Four, I believe.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of great basketball, a lot of great teams to check out, man. I love this breakdown, and I love what you're doing. I thank you for jumping on today. I know your time is precious, and I know you want to jump off and watch that game.
No, I got a live. I got a live at 8:00. I pushed it back. I got a live at 8:00.
Okay, there you go. Well, then again, we're recording this. Yeah, so
I got an IG live every Tuesday, every Monday, and every Tuesday. Start at 7:30. It could be whoever. I got football coaches. Last week I had Verona head coach Marcus Lewis and Huguenot head coach Charles Scott on at the same time, previewing that game. Tonight I got Rasheen Johnson from Prep Girls Hoops, and then I also had the new coach at Rise Academy, that was Churchill Academy, Elijah Saunders. He was an assistant coach at Verona under that great stewardship over there. So I'm gonna be interviewing him at 9:00 tonight.
Okay. Well, when I'm done recording this episode, I'm gonna jump on the live and watch, and I look forward to it. And just last question: how can you talked about your Instagram live? How can people keep up and subscribe to your channel, and what platforms are you on so everybody can get this information? Not just what the 804 coaches and players, but also Commonwealth, because you got some great interviews, and most recently, the Freedom High School Woodbridge coaches was off the hook. It was insightful. How can people follow you?
Well, I'm on TikTok under Lee Mary, under X, Twitter, whatever you call them. BallinVA podcast, also Lee Mary. Facebook, Lee Mary, and then Instagram, where I'm probably at a lot of the times. BallinVA _podcast _804. Check out them Tuesday night lives. You be on there all the time with me, man, with the football talk that starts at 9:00. My AAU Moms, that's at 7:00, which featuring the #1 basketball player in the class of 2029, King Baycott, him and his mom, and he's the younger brother of Armando Baycott, is the center at UNC.
Nice.
You might want to check that out.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you here, Victory Life, man, and me as your brother. I tell you all the time, keep up with the great work. I love it. You're setting the new standard. I love the platform. I love what you're doing, man. I really do. I appreciate you, man.
Man, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. We got to spend more time doing this, man. But, I'll probably see you in a little bit.
Well, you're going to see me. And then on top of it, this is not your first and last. This is just one of many. We just been busy trying to do our own thing, but now we're going to link up, man. So you great breakdown, though. I thank you so much. And again, everybody watching, Make sure y'all check this great brother out, man. I'm telling you right now, you would not be disappointed, especially if you want honest, raw, insightful discussion. They do not hold back. And it's great discussion, great information. So salute to you, my brother. I'll see you later this evening.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Take care. Yes, everyone. Appreciate
Peace.
you. Yes, thank you. That's my guy, Larry. Also, Lee, Mary, man, jumping on, man. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in. We're still doing our high school basketball preview show for the VHSL Division 5, 6, and all divisions, girls and boys basketball, excuse me. Now I'm joined by a really, really great coach who I've highlighted the other day when I did the Prince William County Winter Media Day. And that's Coach Randy Bills, head basketball coach of Battlefield High School right here in Prince William County. I feel like one of the best programs, not only in Northern Virginia, but in the state. Coach Randy, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having us here. I've heard good things and I've always wanted to be on, and here we are.
Yeah, we are here, man. And I see you got some players. Tristan, I'll start with you. Everybody introduce yourself. Tristan, tell everybody who you are and what year are you?
My name is Tristan, and I'm a senior this year.
Okay. All right. Patrick?
My name is Patrick Kelly, class of 2025. And
all right. And also Aiden.
My name's Aiden, and I'm a senior.
All right, guys. So, Coach Randy, we are in the thick of things. You guys scrimmage. I had Doug Craig on early in the show, great friend of mine. You guys scrimmage this team. You guys are both great coaches. Love talking to you both, especially this time of year as you prepare your season, prepare to start your season and get into out of conference and district play. How has it been so far? How are things going to your liking?
I'm actually thrilled with how the guys are competing. It's one of the things that I've actually texted them about a few times and talked to them in person about how a coach's dream is to not have to worry about coaching effort and energy, and they bring it every single time, and that like makes everything so much easier for us. It starts with these three guys and some of the other returners that are kind of setting the tone with that, and it's been trickling down to the new faces to the varsity program this year, and it's been awesome to be able to not have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've heard when I was speaking to a mutual friend, Coach Doug, is he was saying that he was actually impressed with some of your guard play in the scrimmage. I didn't see it, obviously. I was doing Princeton County Media Day, but he thought you guys were very tough. And despite losing a boatload of talent, he thought you guys were going to be a team to reckon with here in our region. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, he always has tough guards that pass the ball around the perimeter and make any team, rotate 2, 3, 4 times. And our guys scramble well. They communicate well, and it was a really good test. That's why I like scrimmaging him every year, because he's always got his guys ready to go, and they're always executing on offense and making you play defense for probably longer than these guys want to play defense. So. And I was definitely happy with the guard play. I thought our bigs played well, as when they got the two twins that are towering over everybody, and it was a good experience for Aiden and a couple of the other guys.
No doubt, man. Tristan, we spoke during Prince William County Media Day, and I put myself out there on the record saying you were poised for a big season. Your father texted me, but I told him, I said I meant every word I said. He was proud to hear that, but that's expectations. Now you have to meet those expectations. How have you prepared yourself in the off season, and how has this early part of the preseason been so far for you?
How I prepared myself was I really focused everything I had this upcoming season, because it's my last season, and I really wanted to put everything I had into it. So summer I would always play basketball and bounce off with friends, hang out with friends and all that other stuff, but mainly focus on basketball, and really just working on like shooting, dribbling, and everything, and just trying to stay in shape for Coach Bills' running. Not one of my favorites, so I will say that. But other than
hold on. Coach Bills running. Hold on. I don't know. What does that mean? What do you mean? Is it like he's on
Careful.
Nah, it's fine. I don't mind the running because I know it'll help us. It'll help benefit us. But
Gotcha.
some of the 17s might need to be laid back. I will say that. But other than that, I'm just excited this season to really showcase what I've put in the work for and
Gotcha.
really just
No
help our
doubt.
teammates out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Aiden, Coach Bills was just talking about you, and you went against those 6'7" twins they have, both college committed bigs. And I've seen them play in fall leagues the last few seasons and the summer league. They are very good players. Big fans of them as well. They've been on just now. How'd you fare against them, and how you prepared this upcoming season?
I felt pretty good going against them. I used my like athleticism to compete with their height and their size, and I feel like I held my own pretty good. But this off season, I was working on my confidence basically. I played with T to build up my skill, and that just confidence came along with it, being more comfortable playing basketball.
Yeah, you said confidence. I mean, when you talk, is that like just being consistent or believing in your skill set, trusting your shot? What does that mean for those watching this?
It's a little bit of everything. Like once I get more consistent, the feel of the basketball just feels natural in my hands, then everything else comes along with it and it feels good to play.
No doubt. Absolutely. Patrick, what position do you play, man, and how have you gone? How's the preseason been for you?
I play a point guard, but preseason for me was pretty laid back because I didn't play as much basketball as I thought I would because with AAU and stuff, like I was gonna play on Team Nova Cavs, which is like practically all of Woodson's team, but it was
Yes. Sorry.
so
It
I knew
is.
I knew a lot of those guys, but no, I just kind of just was playing outside hoops, just shooting around, get anytime I can to just play basketball with friends and compete really.
Yeah. Now, I'll stick with you for a second, Patrick. You said you are a point guard for Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
So I've been introduced to Battlefield the last 5 years, and I watch them. You're talking about some really tough guards. These Coach Randy, Coach Bills has. What is his expectation for you in playing that position? What does he demand of you that you have to continue to get better at, and that you feel like you do well?
I mean, stuff he definitely like demands is for sure like being a leader, like talking on the court, off the court, any being as best of a person I can for the team just to help us out and just being smart with the basketball. And then from there, I mean, for myself, I just make sure I can control the game at the pace that we want to with not trying to limit turnovers.
Okay. And T was talking earlier about the 17s. Are you a team Tristan on this one, or are you going to play company man and just keep it quiet? What are you thinking?
I mean, it depends on the day, I guess, because it's not just us running, it's the team. So,
It's the team.
Because Coach
Okay.
Bills is in here, that's why he's falling back a little.
Yeah, speak the truth, guys. Hey, you guys make your free throws. We don't have to run, right?
No doubt. Coach Bills, we talked at the Prince William County Sports and Entertainment Media Day about the schedule in the district. You guys have had some phenomenal teams in years I've been following Cedar Run District, and your teams and your crowd, the environment, man. And Battlefield has always had a lot of sports teams that have gone to championships, won championships. Most recently, the volleyball team went to states. When you talk about your expectation this year, the word that everyone's going to say is, well, yeah, Battlefield should be okay, but they lost 9, 10 seniors, and you lost, again, one of my favorite players in high school basketball the last several years, Hassan, and Tennant, and even Ty Gordon, who's playing football up in Syracuse, and the big. What is your mindset? I know we're not going to go behind closed doors. This is your team, but what is your mindset? Are you taking this as a motivation? Are you trying to prove people wrong as a coach, or are you just focusing on getting these guys right?
I think we're just trying to prove each day that we belong in that conversation towards the end. Right now is a different thing. We're trying to work some things out, figure out where people fit. But I keep telling these guys like we're a few moments away from like being to where we need to be, and then come mid-January, end of January, we're gonna be a tough team to play come playoff time, just because again, back to the relentlessness that they have, the effort and the energy. And, I think that they're going to be able to maintain that throughout the season. We got some early tests with South Lakes in the first week, and then we have Forest Park, the following week. So those are good early tests for us to get ready for your son and Patriot.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, let's stay on that. One thing I feel like, with social media, Coach Sherman Rivers is my guy. He coaches my son, and I'm always on Twitter, and I see him, and he's promoting his program like a lot of coaches should and do, and he's talking about the rivalry. But let's be real. I mean, Battlefield and Patriot, to me, I've said this, and I've gone on record. I do a lot of radio appearances. I will argue with anybody that is arguably the best basketball rivalry, at least top three in the state. How do you focus when you go into Patriots gym or when you guys are hosting Patriot, not this year on senior night, but in previous years? How do you lock in and keep guys focused, not to buy into all the fanfare, the trash talk, the barstool accounts? How do you get you guys locked in? Because again, I mean, I'm full disclosure. I was introduced to this 4 years ago. The first year it was COVID. And I've been to Battlefield games, but it's different when your son and kids are playing in it. And then I came in and I see the black and the den and all of that. It's intense. How you get these guys and even past teams to lock in?
Well, we try, we try to get the experience for the guys, like by pulling them up at the end of the year, so they can experience that at least going into their varsity years. And then we try to talk trash at practice, to try to get them to all right, now think of anything that you've ever posted on social media or you said, or what can these guys, or not not the players, but the fans, what can they say about you that's going to throw you off? And then it's okay, all right, this is what they're going to try to say. Just be ready for it.
So you don't shy away from it. You put it out there in practice. Okay, that's good. You tell them
yeah, because I think it's important for them to not, obviously you can't mimic walking into the, coming out of the locker room or coming out of the classroom, wherever you are, and coming out to those warm-up lines and just seeing the massive amount of people that are in that gym for that game. You try to do it as best you can, but the reality is you can't really fully get them prepared for that. So, we just try to do little things here and there to get them there. Some of the games that we play early on, the South Lakes gets a really good crowd. So that's a little bit of the experience, but again, it's not Battlefield Patriot.
Yeah, no, it's not. Tristan, I'm gonna come back to you. Coach Bills is giving you the keys to the car this season. And you seem focused and locked in. What are you most looking forward to this season? Basketball, high school basketball, to me, people don't realize, even though I was once, a long time ago, a standout football player, but I played basketball in high school. I played for Boo Williams a few years. People don't realize that what I did, but I love basketball. I love the story. I love the fact that, as I said earlier when Woodson was on here, I love to see the journey where a team could be okay, and then all of a sudden in January they're peaking. And you can also in basketball get a chance to avenge a loss. So for you, in your individual goals, what are you looking forward to this season? You're playing for one of the best programs in the state.
My individual goal is really, as I said before, is really just to win. I really like this team. I love our personalities, and coming to practice is always fun. Always fun going against each other. Whether PK's on the other team or he's on my team, all love and all the relationship is all together. I would mostly say I truly don't really care about any awards, all that, scoring the most points or whatever. I want to do the best that I can as my own person and really help our team and set us up to win. And as Battlefield as we are the quote unquote underdogs, it's really more of a season to prove something, I guess, to other people that we can compete and really just show what we have and what we showcase and what we've brought to what we can bring to the table.
Interesting. So, Aiden, I'm gonna come to you. You heard T talk about we're underdogs, which is weird for me to hear because when you look at preseason order, when Nova Hoops does their ranking, again, Battlefield and Patriot. I know Gainesville is new to the party, but typically statewide, and even in the region, you guys are one of the favorites. So this year, you guys are underdogs. That's what T said. Now, I would agree with that, just based on perception. How does that motivate you? Do you agree with that? And what are your thoughts on that?
I would definitely say that people perceive us as the underdogs, especially after losing like 10 seniors. So, really it just motivates me to work harder and build up my team and just do whatever I can, whether it be scoring, rebounding, or kicking out if I need to.
So if now, I'm not looking for a scout report because this episode is gonna
Yeah.
get a lot of views because we got a lot of people I'm featuring from Potomac is coming on here, Hampton High, we got some other schools. So I don't need the scouting report, but for the sake of this, for your segment, when it comes to you, when they say, "Oh, Aiden Flores, he does this really well," like you can count on him to do these couple of things during the game. What are those things?
Um, I would say like I can get to the rim. I would say I'm more on the athletic side. Try not to put myself too high on a pedestal right
No,
now.
go ahead.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
So really I can just help create open shots for my teammates by bringing people in, and then rebounding is big because we're not a big team comparative to other teams, so I need to do that
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. And Patrick, you were talking about being a guard, a point guard. And I talked, earlier about that's a big responsibility for a battlefield team. Are there point guards that you watch? I mean, are there I always, I'm always surprised. I deal with a lot of teens in my line of work, being a licensed therapist and working at different schools and doing stuff here in my office. When I talk to athletes or even kids that just like sports, they like it, but they don't always watch it. I'm like, wow. Are there players that you watch or that you see on the collegiate level or pro level that you model your game after, that you check for when you have free time?
Um, I would say like obviously like Kyrie is probably a big one just because like
Mm,
he's one of the probably greatest guards in my opinion of all time with shooting, dribbling, like IQ, passing,
mm.
and then I mean also just like watching like college or basketball or NBA, just seeing how what they do as a guard standpoint, and then put it into my style of gameplay, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do know what you mean. And so funny because I show my age when I heard Kyrie, and I'm like, yeah, he is a dog on the court. But I always go back to my guys and my son and the kids is y'all age, like Iverson. I'm like, listen, I wish we can get that matchup. But speaking of matchups, I wasn't in practice. I don't know. I'm not in any practices in the Cedar Run district or any school for that matter. But do you ever get a chance to get matched up against Tristan?
Oh yeah, definitely all the time. Like today,
How's that go?
today,
Or
um,
any day? How's that normally
any
go?
day. I mean,
Yeah.
we battle. I mean, he's more of a like a, I would say pass first point guard. So like, and so I mean, we get our buckets here and there, but we definitely compete for sure.
Yeah. Coach Bills, what are some of the things you do? Again, I mean, you got to keep your stuff, secretive to some degree, but I mean, there's stuff you can speak on for this episode. Like, what do you do when you're building a new team? Are there certain things you do? I was talking to a lot of coaches at the Prince William County Media Day, and they were talking about what we do in the squad scrimmages, but I'll divide the teams up certain ways to make sure I get the most out of them. What do you do to sustain that competition and hunger, I should say, from your players?
I really do think that it's internal with them. I think that they have a drive to compete with each other. And it's rare that you have all of the kids that do that, but it just has that feeling this year that all 1 through 14 that we got right now, like just want to compete. And so it's trying to then, like you said, trying to move, this guy, these two or three guys over to this team tomorrow. And I want to see the matchup of, Tristan and Pat, or then I want to see them together. I want to put Aiden with our new big that we have this year, or I want to put him with Paxton and see how they kind of work together. It's a lot of, and I tell them too, and they're so patient with me about it's a lot of information gathering for me, so that way it's like, okay, this group works well together, or Pat likes running the pick and roll with this kid as opposed to this kid, and it's a lot of communication with my assistant coaches, and then basically challenging me, is this the right move? Yes or no? And that's they do a really good job of making sure that we put these kids in the best position for us to win.
Absolutely. Sticking with you, Coach, I want to ask you this. I have a lot of friends that played football and basketball, and many of them now are coaches throughout VA. I got my friend Troy Mann's head coach at LC Bird. And I love talking to coaches, like even when I'm at the VHSL Live with different AAU things. And I'm curious to see, this is one thing I've noticed with some of the better coaches. Do you adjust seasonally? I know you have your vision for your team and you look at your personnel, and you have your certain things that are the battlefield basketball way. That's never going to change. But do you ever look at the team and say, okay, we're going to run this year, or we're going to go more zone because these my guards can't defend. I know that I'm not saying that's these guys, but basically what I'm saying is, do you adjust accordingly? Because some coaches respectfully are stubborn. And the ability to evolve and adjust, I feel like, which makes things great. I saw you adjust. I watched you guys against Patriot 1 year. You guys were down like 26, and y'all you called a timeout, and y'all made a run. Patriot still won, but you talked about your adjustment. Do you adjust going into a season, even mid-season, or looking at your personnel, or not to call you stubborn, but are you one of those guys who was like, nope, this is the battlefield way, and this is what we're gonna do?
Well, I'll let the guys talk about if I'm stubborn or not. But I think, if you look at the team that we had last year and the year before, with the size that we had, with our point center Ty Gordon, we had Haas, we had Maddox, like we had some guys that can just go get a bucket on their own. And this year it is by committee. We got a bunch of guys that can go get 10 to 12 to 15 points on a night, but then they're also willing to take the back seat to if the other guy is, has a mismatch problem or something like that. I know that we're going to be a little bit more scrappier than we have been in the past, just because, we don't have that size to slow it down and kind of defend you and make you work for things, in the half court. So we're gonna look to throw some more traps out there and speed everybody up. And they got a fun running drill that we have to work on some of the transition stuff that I know that they love.
Tristan, as soon as you said that, he was, oh man. We're almost done, Tristan. I know you guys are tired from all that running, but Tristan, I'll come to you, man. When you talk about this season in the district, and you mentioned being the underdog, and you guys opened up against South Lakes and Forest Park. What are some of the things that you're learning from Coach? And I asked that question not only to a lot of players, but even to kids that play other sports. What are you learning about leadership from Coach Bills? What are you learning?
I'm learning a lot from Coach Bills. Actually, he really helps each and one of us, or mainly us three as captains. Really, he wants us to encourage our teammates as best as we can, and he'd rather us be his voice before it becomes his voice, his own. So we really step up during practice, and anytime anybody doesn't understand plays, defensive plays, or anything, we really like demonstrate and show them. We even stop practices to break it down for them, and really just all around are just that secondary helper for Coach Bill, so it removes stress from him, because his job is very stress worthy. But
yeah.
Stress. They know my looks. They know my looks, so they get the opportunity with the guys before I do. So they do a great job.
Well, Coach, I'll come back to you. I want you to talk about this particular thing, and that's your assistants. I feel like the head coach, obviously, I invited you on, and we talked about it, and you guys so graciously jumped on. But when I look at teams that are, in the districts and the regionals and sometimes the states, it's not just the head coach, it's your assistants, man. You got some long-time assistants. Just give them a shout out, and also what do they mean to the program? Because obviously you don't do it by yourself. And you guys aren't making thousands of dollars. Like, people don't realize that you guys are putting in a lot of hours, and there's a limitation on what the VHSL and the schools can pay you. What is it about your assistants? Tell us about them, and how do they make your program one of the better programs?
Well, first, I guess publicly that I'll ask Kamal Street to come back if he would like to be an assistant. He's been with my program for 9 years, 3 years as a parent, 6 years as assistant, but now he's administrator.
Yeah.
He's still. I talk to him almost every day on everything, so he's still a part, but not officially, if you will.
Yeah.
Bill Witter has been with us now for 5 years. He was a JV coach for a little while, and now he's moved up with us for the last couple of years. And then Hassan Hamad's dad, who was our freshman coach, is now up with us on the varsity level as well. So those two guys, again, they challenge me, they challenge the boys, and they just make sure that we're doing the best that we can. My 6 a.m. phone calls to Coach Witter on my way to work just to make sure that we got everything taken care of. I know his wife might not like all those phone calls, but now that he's moved up into the first chair, if you will, assistant, there's a little bit more responsibility with that. And I got it. My JV coach is phenomenal. He might do more running than I do. He's awesome, and he's getting them ready for me at the varsity level. And then I have a new freshman coach, Marvin Sims, and then a kind of a cool thing, a former player of mine, Stacy Terry. He played for me in 17, 18, and 18 and 19. Those 2 seasons. He's helping out Coach Sims at the freshman level. So they do. I mean, they're there at workouts. They're running the workouts. They're questioning me and helping me and making sure that we're putting if freshmen need to be on JV or varsity, like they're challenging me to make sure that those kids get placed the right way. So I can't thank them enough.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, guys, you've been great. Now I'll end it with asking the players a final question. Aiden, you know, when you talk about what battlefield basketball means to you and what people will say about you guys, no matter win or lose, what will they say about y'all when they watch y'all play? What will be Battlefield's identity this year?
I would say people would look at us and say, "Oh, those are brothers right there. Like they work together. They're all helping each other out, building off each other, and they work well together." So a brotherhood,
Absolutely.
really, yeah.
Okay. Patrick, same question.
I would say, especially since we're an undersized team, I would say heart over height for sure this year. Definitely with just battling for sure and always giving effort 24/7. Like leaving it all on the floor every game, knowing that these guys gave it their best.
Nice. Tristan.
Mainly what Flo said, to piggyback off it, a brotherhood, that strong relationship. Like anything that goes on behind the doors is basically you guys will see up front how we each love for each other and pick up one another. If we see one who's having a bad game at the end of the bench, I mean, we're gonna bring him up and bring him more towards the bench and keep him in that huddle and always just encourage him and just really just positive vibes for real.
Nice. Well, Coach Bill, it seems like they're getting the message and they seem like they're getting the leadership down, man. I wish you guys well this season, man, except for a few games. No, I do wish you guys a healthy season, and I know you guys are going to play hard. And Coach, I told you on Saturday at Princeton County Media Day, my wife and I, we talk about what we've learned about different things in our district, and we've learned, you guys, Battlefield plays hard. You get the most out of your team, and you guys are one of the better programs. And kudos to you and your staff for building a great program. And it makes for a fan, even though my son is seeing like these guys are going to graduate, I'm still going to be coming, and I'm still going to have my podcast because to me, it's great basketball. It's compelling. I mean, the back and forth, not just with Patriot, but I mean, there's other big games, and I mean, it's great. It's great for our district. It's great for our region, and it brings the best out of everybody. And it's going to be another great season. I definitely believe that.
It is. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely, man. No, for real. And again, gentlemen, man, stay focused, stay locked in. I appreciate you guys for jumping on, man. Again, for those watching, Battlefield Bobcats playing this season, open up with South Lakes High School. Hey, Coach, where can they find your schedule?
Bobcatspride.org.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all jumping on. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm now joined by head basketball coach of the Hampton High Crabbers, my longtime friend, brother, and teammate, Eric Brown, along with a new face to the Crabbers. Malik, tell everybody who you are.
Hello, guys. My name is Malik Johnson, class of 2024. I play point guard and shooting guard, and new face of Hampton High School.
I love it. I love it, man. So I'll be rooting for you every game except for one. When you guys last year, Eric Brown played my son, who you're familiar with from the AU circuit, Patriot High School last year up here in Northern Virginia, and we come down there this year. So for me, it's bittersweet. It's torture because I'm a crabber through and through, but I got to sit there in my gym and root for my son. So I'm like Luke Skywalker when he was trying to, Anakin, when he was battling his dark side and everything like that. But on a serious note, man, you guys are getting ready for a long season. There are a lot of high expectations this year for Hampton. What has it like been being part of the Hampton High basketball program since you gotten there?
It's been good, really. Just feeling the love, enjoying the culture, really learning everything. Coach Brown, he's a phenomenal coach, and yeah, but nothing but love since I got here.
Yeah, man. No, he is a great coach. He's been that way since we were 7 years old, back when Sega and Nintendo was popping, him making subs and things like that. Coach Brown, I know you've been busy at night, man. I know you got a lot going on, man. This is an important but stressful, exciting, intriguing part of the year, man. Hampton High this year is in Division 4 once again. A lot of people around VHSL, especially in your region, feel like you guys are a state contender. But that's long ways from now. Right now, we're in November as we record this episode. What are your thoughts so far on the early preseason, and what are you looking forward to?
Really, I'm looking forward to our growth that's coming together. We just got the football players tonight with their first practice. Had 2 starters on the football field. So just to finally get to see the whole picture. They had a good practice in there with Gavin and Malik and Abe and them guys. All them guys got a chance to mesh today. I'm excited because I feel like people didn't forget. People kind of been talking, real funny about who we are and but we gonna make sure that, we in contention. I'm excited about the team. I feel like we got ways to play multiple different ways, multiple different styles, which I like. I like being, versatile. I like interchangeable parts. But I'm excited about our guys. I love my team. I love my team. I'm hard on them, but I love my team. I love how they responding to the work that we put in, for the last few months.
No doubt. And you talk about, I know you and I are close friends, so we talk about your schedule. You talk about other stuff, including your family and whatnot. But when you coach, you're all in. You've been coaching since 1994. You coached on Boo Williams AU teams, the circuit. You coached McDonald's All-American in regards to Cat Barber and Ronald Curry. You've been coaching a long time. You've won championships, districts, regionals, and states. But every season is different. I talked about the expectations, even though people have forgot, the people in the know that cover high school basketball know that you can coach and that you guys are a contender, but that's just talk. With that being said, what have you done in preparation this summer, this fall, to get these guys ready for the expectations you have for your team?
Really, I've been working on myself, to tell you the truth. I feel like, I don't want to mess it up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the guy that mess it up. So I'm trying to take a lot of cues from them. As, some stuff we put in, I see they jump on it right away and like it right away. Some stuff we put in, we kind of, it's kind of disjointed, you know what I'm saying? And some of that's because we haven't had all our guys, the entire time. But, my thing is not doing too much, where they can't play fast, they can't play, where they're not having to think too much. They can just play off of their talent, you know what I'm saying? Because, I'm a chess player, so, sometimes I can overdo it in that aspect instead of, getting out the guy's way and just let them go. So one thing I've been doing is really working on myself as far as that's concerned. But, really trying to hear the players, understand what they want, at the same time making them toe the line of what I have to have, from my standpoint, and knowing what we need to do to be successful. And I think they've been working towards that.
Yeah. Malik, I'll come back to you. You're new to the program. Are you familiar with those expectations I mentioned about how long Coach Brown's coached and Hampton High's history of success? I mean, he mentioned people forgot, and I understand why he says that because, you have some teams in the district who've had some better seasons here in recent years, but overall, Hampton High for decades has been one of the premier programs in the state. And I know Coach Brown wants to get there. What are you familiar with? What are you aware of? What do you know about the program?
I'm very familiar with the program. A lot of respect, a lot of good guys that came through the program that Coach E has coached and developed to be the player they are today. And I'm just gradually taking everything in and just trying to mold everything and take pieces from each and every one and just try to make it into my own.
Now, I've heard some good things about you as a player, so I know about it. But for those that's going to see this when we post this on our various outlets, who is Malik, excuse me, as a basketball player? What are your strong attributes? If I watch you play, what should I expect in regards to playing for Coach E. Brown?
I'm energetic, team player. I like to score and also like to get my players going as well on the floor. And defensive. A lot of people don't know that I can really defend, and Coach E really been pushing that on me as much as possible since I got here, and just being able to lock anyone up.
I like that. So you take pride in defense?
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's rare these days. Every time I talk to a young, it's like, I got to get buckets. I got to get, you see my dunk? Yeah, I got to get buckets. And I'm like, man, does anybody play D? That's actually making me happy. Coach, you guys, have a schedule this year. You always play good competition, especially in your district, in your region. But,
Right.
You guys have a schedule this year that you play some programs. Talk about some of the teams you're going to play outside of your district. Obviously, you guys open up with Woodside, right? But then you also have some big out-of-conference games. Who are they?
Of course, we already mentioned we're playing Patriot. They were a state runner-up. They've been one of the top programs in the state, regardless of classification the last 2 or 3 years. With as many wins they've accumulated, Coach Rivers does a great job. But we also have we're going to be playing Kempsville, out of Virginia Beach. They're guard heavy. Coached by Darren Sanderlin, who won a state championship with Booker T back in the early 2000s. And we also have Oscar Smith, who we played last year in the crossover classic at Bethel. We lost to them in the last minute of the game. Actually, it was a great game. We're playing them on in the Martin Luther King Day Classic over at Atlantic Shores on the 13th of January. And then we're going to round it out with Kingsport. We're playing Kingsport on February 3rd. Coach Hike, has built that program into a powerhouse. He's a great friend of mine, fellow Raider Nation. We've been trying to, get together the last few years because, we've been trying to have that rematch to that 2012 state championship game when he was coaching for Petersburg. And of course, we wound up beating them. But we haven't held up our end of the stick. They've been getting to the regional finals, the last 3 or 4 years, and we've been right there on the doorstep. And we talk all the time. Like he always jinxed me because he'd be like, "Oh yeah, we be playing y'all Friday." As soon as he say that, we get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, "Man, stop saying that, man. Every time you think we about to play, we mess around and lose." But they've gone up to Division 5 now. So when he called and asked me, we always play in their event. They throw a great event. They throw several events every year. But that Battle Lines event is one of their marquee events they have in early February. And it's a great opportunity for us. It's early February, it's late in the season, it's right before we should be molding into who we're going to be going into the playoffs at that time. Hopefully we're injury free. And we can really see if we can match their physicality. I think our talent, can play with anybody. Will we be as physical as them? We'll see. But by that time, we'll be battle tested. We've been and played, Woodside 2 times, Mansfield 2 times, Kickingham 2 times, plus those other teams that I mentioned. So, playing them that late in the season is be a, great game to bounce off of going into the playoffs. And it's good competition, iron sharpening iron.
No doubt. Coach Brown, also, you mentioned about last year, which I saw that game. I watched it and I rewatched it online because Patriot didn't play in the Oscar Smith. They ended up playing him in the state semis. That was a back and forth game. Y'all essentially, I'm not even being a homer. Y'all had that game, and even when y'all drove up to Northern Virginia, you were missing a big that was going to match up with Isaiah. You had your other guy that was going against Jay Randall, but Sherman Rivers. I talked to him after the game. I talked to my son and a few other players. They were very impressed with y'all, and that was a back and forth game. And then y'all had some costly mistakes, and there were other games. You guys, y'all didn't duck Woodside, obviously a district game. You had Minchville. There were games where, in a lot of ways, there was immaturity shown. Where if a mistake here, the game has a different outcome. How do you get these guys this year? What's the difference this year? Is it maturity? Is it they understand? I mean, what will be the difference, I should say, where they can close out?
I really think we grew up over the summer. It helps to get, it was a great pickup for us to get Malik. He's played a lot of basketball in a lot of different spots and a lot of big time basketball. So his basketball IQ to help these guys out, and he came at the perfect time. Getting Deron Ball back as a point guard, be his fourth year playing varsity. But our bigs are grown up, and that's probably the number one thing that Gavin was a baby last year. He was a freshman, but all the bigs never played varsity basketball until last year. All of them, that was their first year playing varsity basketball. Abraham Tab actually got moved up right before we came up there to play up. That was his first game. So he moved up. He didn't even know anything when we came up to play out. We were just throwing him out there because we were short-handed, and he's a starter this year. So they just really grown up. They really compete. We really way more physical, and we played to our bigs. Well, last year we played around our bigs. Well, this year we played through our bigs. Even with all our great talent at the guard spot, we played through our bigs, and then we play everything off of them because they earned it. They really pushed themselves to get to that point, and that's an advantage for us. Most people don't have three bigs. We got three guys that we can get the ball to inside that have different type of skill sets, and different body types. And it helps them, Abe's the guy that can go from, point forward all the way down to 5, and even, we even could put Malik 1 through 4. So, with his size, so, we can play some different ways when people try to throw lineups at us, but we also can just go real big, and make people play to us, which is what we plan on doing a lot, is making people play to us more than us, trying to play to anybody else.
No doubt. Malik,
definitely the maturity of our bigs,
Yeah, no doubt. Malik, excuse me, when you hear Coach Brown talk about, you being a difference maker around a talented team that's more mature with bigger expectations, do you feel there's any pressure that comes with that? I mean, I know you play some big time ball. I know your resume. But with that being said, for people that don't know you, speak on that, because some kids talk about I play big ball and, big time ball, and you realize they're not ready when the lights come on. And, they have 6 turnovers and they're missing foul shots and bunnies and shots. But, again, I know your resume, but elaborate a little bit about that, about being a guy that could really help Hampton get over the top.
Really, it just comes down to, of course, the pressure is going to be there, but just staying focused and staying under control. I recently came from Macedon Military Academy. I played post-grad there, played some big teams out there like IMG, Oak Hill, Brewster, stuff like that, teams like that. And
did they make you cut your hair in Macedon?
Yeah, that's why the hair.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, because
just the different spots I've been at, I've learned a lot from different people and different programs, and like I said before, it just made me the player I am today and my IQ, and just getting everybody on page. Like I said, like Coach E said, running through our bigs, they've definitely matured a lot. Like I seen them last year, they weren't as good as they are now, passing out the post, looking for the cutters and stuff like that, being physical, and just things of that just really helps us a lot.
Nice. Your leadership style. What kind of leadership style do you have? Because I've been around some great leaders. What kind of leadership style do you feel like you have?
I feel like I'm more of a vocal leader. Guys kind of understand where I come from. I could be hard some points, but they know, they get the message, and they don't sound like really hear the tone or stuff like that. And I just really try to get them going as much as possible and go on to the next play if they mess up.
Yeah, and you guys, Malik, I'll stick with you on this one, and then I'll come to you, Coach. You guys, open up a Woodside, which I will be at that game, coming just to support. I'll be a crabber that night, and Woodside comes in with a lot of hype and a lot of stuff that's been said on Twitter. They recently played John Marshall. They're the defending Division 5 state champions. That could be a statement game for Hampton. Obviously, basketball, unlike football, you can play a team 2, sometimes 3, even 4 or 5 times, even though you guys are in 2 different divisions. That's a big opportunity. I always felt those kind of games, you learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about your team. When you look at that, at Woodside matchup, and I know you're probably familiar with them. What are you looking forward to most about that game?
Them coming out and bringing it as hard as they can, coming off of a state championship. They're gonna have all the confidence, all the chemistry together and stuff like that. But they're coming in our home, and we're looking to defend and really make a statement to the Peninsula District that we're coming to dominate this year. Everybody.
Yeah, Coach, you've been involved in so many big games as a player. You've coached as an assistant under our great coach, Coach Brower. You coached against some games that were moved to the Coliseum where thousands of people watched us play, and you played in some state championships. I saw you guys against Petersburg. You mentioned some people have forgotten, and that's definitely true. With Woodside coming into your place, man, I know you are not focused just on Woodside. With that being an opener, man, how do you get your team ready, and what are you looking forward to? Because that's a big game with a lot of prospects on both sides. Both Hampton and Woodside both have a lot of prospects, a lot of talent. How do you keep your guys locked in by not getting caught up on Twitter and Snapchat and, IG and all the, trash talk and the expectations from Facebook Messenger? I know you're not on all of that, but how do you keep your guys locked in, and what are you looking forward to about that matchup?
Like we said, it's a great test to open the season, and I think it's a great way to open a season. To open a season with a game like that, you definitely have the attention of your player. It helps practice. It helps practice. Practice is different. Practice is different if you're playing a Gloucester, a team that But if you coming right out, and you got to come out the gate and play. You got to play who's supposed to be, the big dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's supposed to get your attention. It's supposed to get your juices going. If you're a basketball player, Coach Welch has done an outstanding job. You know what I'm saying? I remember when he first started, but he's done a great job. A lot of people don't, bang with his style or whatever, but, I understand a lot of people don't bang with my style. You see what I'm saying? So, I can respect, what he's done, and he's doing it his way. He's doing it his way. I'm older, so I'm not as boisterous as far as before we play. What I'm saying? But you know me, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be completely motivated, for any big game. It's not just him, we played a lot of great games. There's been buzzer beaters and comebacks and all type of games, you know what I'm saying? He's got they've got the best of us the last 3 meetings. But as far as my guys, I think they're motivated. I think they're motivated to the fullest. They're looking forward to the challenge. They know it's a challenge. They came in our place last year and, they got hot and embarrassed us, really, in my opinion. We played them well over there, but their experience just, we played them very well in their place, but their experience just won out. And the biggest thing when you're playing a championship team, and I know it because I know it when we had it, is the championship confidence is what you got to get into. You got to try to break their championship confidence. So they're supposed to walk a certain way. They're supposed to have a certain type of swagger. They're supposed to be. I understand what that's like. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, you work hard to win a championship, bro. They're not easy. Everybody don't win. There's a whole lot of teams out there. Okay. Only 6 of them won championships last year. Okay. There's a whole lot of teams out there. Okay. So, you can say what you want to say, but you're supposed to walk a certain way when, once you win a championship. You got a certain amount, the kids going to have a certain amount of confidence. And we fine with that. We fine with that. You know, I like when ain't nobody talking about us until they are. You feel me? Because that's how it was when we won it before. You know what I'm saying? You know, before you know it, people looked up and we was 27-5, and it was, you know, and it was too late. So, you know, like I said, I think our kids are looking forward to it. Now, it's not the end all be all. They're not the goal. And I will relay that to the kids. You know, they're not the goal, but you relish in the moment. And it is a moment. It is a moment. It is something that can springboard our guys. And for us having younger guys, you know, it's a proven moment for them. You know, they get a chance to, you know, I think they're confident that they can compete, but you have to win. You know, you have to win too, you know what I'm saying? And that's what takes you over the top, is not just playing them well, but to close that game out and win it. And, you know, we're going to be looking forward to the challenge, just like they will when they walk in here. It'll be their first game trying to, you know, repeat. So they're going to be looking, you know, they're going to come in, just like Malik said, they're going to come in with that swag and that confidence, but we're going to have a little bit of swag in our own spot too, believe that.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's why I'm coming down there, because I actually, you know, I think it's going to be a great game. And, you know, I can't wait to see it. With that being said, Coach, the Peninsula District in football and basketball for decades has been the standard in the state. Obviously, in football, it's the Phoebus Phantom Show, which is another show topic. I'm not talking about that. Warwick has come on, and they got a chance with a big matchup against Maury. That's going to be good for the Peninsula District. But the reason why I say that is because historically, the Peninsula District in football and basketball was more than Phoebus and Hampton and Warwick. It was several teams. But in basketball, it's still a premier conference. It's still a premier district. I mean, basketball's been able to sustain that. Talk about the other teams, Bethel, Phoebe. What else? I mean, again, because this show we're highlighting teams all across the state, girls and basketball. Shonda Bailey's going to be on here tomorrow night. We're going to get her and her team on. So just talk about some of the teams, because, you know, we can talk about the Woodside matchup, which we just did, but, you know, the thing I love about the PD, there are some teams, everybody, you got to bring it most nights, if not every night.
Yeah, the thing about it too is the kids know each other so well. That's what makes the games really hard. The kids know each other really well, and then the coaches get to know each other really well, because we all been in our spots for a little while. So, you know, I fully expect Mitchville to still be right there. They don't have the experience or mainly the experience, but you know, they don't have that same experience, you know, that they've had over the past probably 4 or 5 years. Lamont, you know, has been, Coach Struthers has been over there in the last few years with both his sons going on to play Division I. He has some other great kids to play. That are going on to Division I. He just built a great program over there, and, you know, he can coach, you know, and those guys are disciplined. They play to a system. They're gonna play well. And I expect when we play them, it'll be, you know, a very challenging game for us. You know, as it will them. You know, they always are. But the team people always, for some reason, keep sleeping on is Kickertan. I don't know why. You know, they won 20 games 2 years in a row. You know, our man Dwayne Campbell has took over now. You know, we go way back from playing a whole lot of street ball against each other when he went to Bethel. But you know, Quiet kept Dwayne was the guy that, you know, as good as Coach G did, but Dwayne was the guy that had those guys together every offseason. You know, so he knows them well. You know, they're gonna play hard for him. You know, they lost some guys, of course, you know, from them teams, you know, but they always come out and they're better than people think. You know, they're better than what people thought they were going to be. So, you know, they're definitely a team we're not sleeping on at all. I think Ward will have some length. They got some returners coming. They have a new coach, female coach. She's solid. We'll see how good they come along. But, you know, I really think the teams that people really, and Bethel's playing young. You know, Coach Breon, you know, he's going to have that tough, hard-nosed, you know, UVA type of system where he's going to be trying to make us play the 45, first team to 50. So it's always hard to crack that, you know, playing against them, and you got to try to speed them up and try to get his teams are so disciplined. And, you know, he really tries to dictate that tempo on you. But he has a really young team. He has young guards. A lot of, you think he's going to be starting like 2 freshmen. So they're kind of going to be figuring it out early on. But we actually play them in the season. They're at the end of our schedule now. So we'll play them the last of the rotation. And they're actually our last preseason. They're actually our last game. They haven't been our last game since we played Chuck and them in '93. The last time they've been the last game on the schedule. Yeah.
That's been the last time?
Yeah. They're the last game. Our senior night is them here. That's been, I can't remember. I've been here the whole time that we played them last, and that's the last time that I remember.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah.
But I think the year is going to be. I still think it's going to be a challenging year because we're not a finished product. We still got to prove it on the floor. I tell the younger guys all the time, we still in improvement mode. We still in improvement mode. It doesn't matter how much your potential is. You got to go out and show and prove. We still have to play well. We have to defend well. We have to pull it together on offense. We have to, we have to become closer off the floor. We have things to work on to make this team what we want it to be. And it's not supposed to be, what it is at the end, what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't supposed to be that, and we're not that yet. We're just talented. We had great pieces. We got experience. And we just have to, pull it all together as a group. And biggest thing is stay together as a group.
Yeah. Malik, last question for you, and then I'll hit Coach Brown with a question, and we'll be done. But, Coach Brown kind of segued into the question I wanted to ask you. I think when I look at championship teams or teams that are playing deep into the playoffs and regionals into state tournament is the chemistry and camaraderie, the bond. When Coach Brown and I were together, we grew up together. I played with his older brother, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the Peninsula District history. Shout out to Fred Brown. We had a bond and connection, and we didn't miss practice, and we understood what it meant. We didn't have a group chat because, these things weren't out yet, but we would make sure, we were hanging out, we went to a party, we spent the night with each other's house, and we made sure we got to shoot around, to film, to lifting. How do you guys keep that? Because in order to get over the hump and get Hampton back to where they belong, you got to have that chemistry and cohesiveness. You talked about your leadership style. What do you guys do to be united, to stay together? You have a group chat? Do y'all do team building exercises? You guys hang out? I know it's tough now with, scheduling and things like that, but how do you keep that going, extending it from practice?
Extending it from practice, we have group chats. We talk a lot, play the game, stuff like that. A lot of things is online, so we can do stuff like that. But we're setting up a bowling alley. Well, not setting up a bowling alley, but going to a bowling alley together. Just doing little things like that, just building that brotherhood outside of practice, because in practice we go through everything together, we run the same, sweat the same, put in the same type of work, and that kind of molds us all together. We still have a long way to come. We just got, like Coach E said, we just got our football players back, so they're in the mix now, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, be careful with them bowling alleys, man. Some things have happened there. Allen Iverson, we all know about. Shout out to Chuck.
Yeah, we gonna try to stay we might try to stay in the afternoon hours. They be want to do their own thing once they want to do their own thing once it get too late anyway.
Yeah, but one quick question though, Malik, I do want to ask you, man. Talented guard, man. I'm looking forward to watching you play, even when I'm up here. Watch you guys on the app, man. But in your schools, you mentioned you at Master Nut, man. Are you talking to any schools? I know it's different now, seeing what my son and other kids go through with the transfer portal, and some kids have to prep, and it's a different time now because of what happened with COVID. I know you're a talented player. You were part of that DC Premier organization, where that's how you guys met. How's recruiting going? Are you talking to schools? I know it's fluid, so what they may say now, come March and April, may be different. But any visits coming up? Any schools that you're high on, or are you still in that process?
It's definitely harder because of the portal and stuff like that now. But I just recently took a visit this past weekend to University of District Columbia. got an offer there. I'm currently holding 2 D2 offers from Elizabeth City and them. And
Congratulations.
thank you. And ODU, JMU, and I'll say HU has really been kind of looking at me really hard this season. JMU and ODU recently just came to my practice, and it's like you said, it's definitely tougher for this generation to kind of get into schools because a lot of transfers and older people, they're looking for more experience and stuff like that. A lot of people go prep, but I feel as though this season will really do me a lot of justice to myself recruiting wise, and I definitely have something to look forward to coming next semester for college.
I'm gonna say this, but I believe that, and I'm gonna say this while we record this, and I know everyone's going to hear me and see me say this, but listen to Coach Brown. I think the one thing I try to tell my son and other players is to listen to guys that's been there, done it. This guy knows this. I'm not saying this because he's one of my best friends. I can tell you, he's coached some of the best in Virginia high school league history and NCAA history. And one of the best attributes I see with people that want to get to the level you want to get at is they listen and they learn, take it all in. Sometimes it might be annoying, sometimes it might be confusing. Ask questions and listens. So I know you seem like that kind of young man. I just want to really stress that to you. Coach Brown, we talked about this season. We talked about previewing some games and Malik being a new addition to your team. The football players are back. You have a lot of expectations this year. Your goal is always to get to the championships. But at the same time, every year is different. What will people say? I know this is right now, we're recording this in November, but what will people say about Hampton when it's all said and done, when they watch y'all play? When, win or lose, when they watch y'all play, what will this year's team, your goal for them, what will it be?
We play hard. We really, really play hard. I thought that the way we were knocked out last year was such an element of a group of seniors playing younger guys, because we had beat Heritage twice, and they were clicking so good in the playoffs. I mean, they were clicking, and I told my coaches, I said, this game is going to be really hard. I said, number one, the second time we played them, we barely beat it. Then we scored on the last second shot when my point guard had a floater to go ahead within the last, 8 seconds of the game or something like that. But Coach Bagley really got those guys going, and it looked that way. And in the moment, we just was immature. We looked immature the way we handled the adversity, and that's the big thing. You can come out quick, but can you handle it when the other team start punching back? I'm really on our guys about, our mental toughness. Mentally, you have to withhold from taking a shot. You have to withhold your impulses, you know what I'm saying, from if somebody do something dirty or something. You have to be mentally tough. The mentally tough teams are the teams that make that long run. They really get into their studying their craft, on and off the floor, and they do the things they need to do to get to that higher level. Because the higher you get, the slipperier it gets. It's hard to win. People think it's, even if you got a squad, man, it's hard to win a championship, man. What I really want for this team is to meet and exceed their own expectations. Meet and exceed their own expectations. And some of them are young, so when I'm getting on them now, and I tell them, I said, because I already see something that you guys haven't realized yet on how good we can be. I really think we can be really, really good. But as you know, little things make big things happen. So some of that stuff they brush to the side. They be like, dang, coach going crazy. They be something little. And they be wondering why I'm dumbing out over it. And I be like, yo, because that's what it reach up and bite you at the wrong time. And you wondering, I'm telling you to call names when you making passes, and then you throw a pass and we're in the playoffs, and you don't call his name, and the ball go behind him and go out of bounds. And the score was tied, 60-60, you know what I'm saying? And that was the last possession. Now they got the ball. So, it's all the small stuff. You know what I mean? It's just the small stuff that really make those big things happen. And like they say, great teams ain't like super, they just do all the regular stuff good all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like all that stuff that you really ain't supposed to have a problem with, they don't have a problem with that stuff. Simple passes and that stuff they do good consistently all the time. And that's what makes you a great team. And we're not there yet, but we're working to get there. And what I want for this team is to realize their potential. I don't really go about what someone else would think. It's all about ourselves, and how we see ourselves. And I always stress to them, even when we lose a game, I was like, if we was the best version of ourselves, we had lost that game. So strive to be the best version of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't come out and beat yourself and then you're mad because you lost, but you just had 16, 17 turnovers, or you got a certain amount of turnovers from a certain position. Like your point guards can't have the ball all over the gym. The bigs don't have the ball. The guards do. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has a job and you have to stand up on your job, including me. So I try to hold myself. Nobody holds themselves more accountable than me. When we lose, Nita will tell you, my wife will tell you, I'm all over myself. I mean, all over myself. Like I hardly ever sleep. During the season, I sleep. I don't sleep a lot anyway, but I hardly ever sleep during the season because I'm always calculating. It's hard for me to turn my brain off. So, what I'm saying? It's either worry or did I do enough or this, that, and the third. So, and at some point she'd be like, you just got to trust your gut and just go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do it. Y'all can't do anything else but go play the game. So, and that's what it come down to. The kids still got to go perform. They got to go perform. I got to try to do as much as I can to get the staff ready and get the kids ready. And when we walk out there on the 28th to play Woodside next week, we're going to let the chips fall where they may. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, it's not – they're not the goal.
Yep.
So I don't want to get caught up in, if we happen to come up short, that – the sky's falling. You feel me? Like it's game one. You know what I'm saying? It's game one. And no matter if we win that game or we lose that game, even if we win that game, I'm gonna find 1,000 things in the film that I'm gonna light them up on, you know what I'm saying, the next day. I already know it. So even if we win that game, we're gonna feel great. And they gonna feel great. And I want them to, but I'm going home to watch film. You see what I'm saying? And they know it. So it's a constant thing. And it ain't just me, it's all coaches. All coaches, are working that hard all year to try to get their team to a certain spot.
Yeah. And Malik, just so you know, man, that not sleeping and pointing, he been like that since we were little. He took losses hard. I'm telling you, man, he sit there and he go and look at the game. And it was annoying, man, because even on the sticks, he pause it and rewound. He would rewound a play over and over again. And that's when I knew we were 9, 11, 14, 15, 16. I said, it's going to be a coach, man. Because he just always had the mind for it, man. Really quickly, and I mean that because we're under time constraint. My God, my son and a lot of players up here, Patriot was impressed with the kid that hurt his ACL. Is he healthy?
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
The kid, Coach Brown, the young man. I don't know if he's still with the pro. He hurt his knee. He was he played on the Boo Williams thing. Is he healthy? He hurt his knee. Number 0, I believe. I can't remember. He was a wing.
I told you he transferred.
Oh, he transferred.
Yeah, he the one we lost. Oh no, they really lucky that ain't happen. A whole lot of people lucky that ain't happen. A whole lot of people happy that went down the way it went down. It was a blessing, like I said, because Malik came probably a week and a half after that happened, just out of nowhere. So you know what I'm saying. But if that had happened, it'd be a problem.
he was very, very impressed. Where did he end up going?
He went to Peninsula Catholic because he was told it would help his recruiting. I'll leave it at
different
that.
World, different generation. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
at that. Listen, man, crab and pride, gentlemen. I can say that because I am and always will be a crabber. But thank you both for jumping on tonight. I will tell you both when it runs. Good luck this season. Praying for a healthy and successful season. Open up. What is it? November 28th against Woodside, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
what time is that game?
It's 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7.
7 o'clock. Malik said that quickly. Where can we find tickets at, Coach Brown, and how can people find your schedule?
The schedule will be should be on the school website by now. Like everybody go look at Max Prep to try to find everybody's schedule.
Yeah.
You can go on. They have the Go Fan now. We finally got online that you can buy our tickets online now. I don't know that right offhand because I literally just got that from the AD right before I went to the parent meeting.
Okay.
So I don't know it offhand. But you can get the tickets online now. They call it Go Fan or Go something like that.
Yeah, we have that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Tickets,
y'all
pickets.
got it. I know y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? We down here in the lonely, we sit down here, we trying to catch up. We know y'all got it up there. Yeah,
7-5, yeah, no doubt.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, guys, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all, man. Good luck this season. I mean that wholeheartedly, man. And I'll see you guys next week, and then I'll see you again on December 30th, man.
Oh, no, you'll see us December 2nd, buddy. We'll be over there watching that game.
Oh, well,
yeah, y'all play Woodside December 2nd. Yeah, we'll be over there watching the game.
Malik, I love how coaches know this.
Yeah, we'll be over there for sure. You know what I'm saying? Sherm already know it. You know who'll be in the house. Yes, sir. I'm going to be in the house. Yep. Yes, sir. So you'll see me 2 times in a week. Yeah, yes, sir. You'll see me 2 times.
I'm sure. You know what? The more I think about it, I think he might be at that Woodside game, man. I think he might come down.
Yeah, he gonna come down. I know he is. They probably have it online. It's probably gonna run live anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank y'all so much. I know it's been a long day, long night, but again, I appreciate y'all, man. Check out those Hampton Crabbers. A great matchup, great district, great coach, and great team. Thank you both.
All right, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right.
Yes, sir.